It's about the 6 end.
What's that?
Just the 6 end. That's what I feel for.
It's a perfect stone.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, oh yes. Yep. Yep, not over yet. Yep, go, let's get right. back 12. Yeah.
a very pleasant good evening and welcome to the Bucks County Curling Club at the 2019 Big Buckin Monspiel. It's semifinal time, and this is the D event semifinal between Finger Lakes 1 and Taken for Granted. Finger Lakes skipped by Dan Hazlitt and Taken for Granted. Skipped by Paul Sindon. Close enough? I'm getting okay responses from the Diamond State people in front of me, so I'll take it. Paul's vice is his significant other, Jennifer Yang. The second is Phil Wilcox. And the lead is Frank Boyko. For Finger Lakes, well, their lineup has been all over the place to hell and back, and there's three guys in the ice and one sub from our club, and that's just kind of how it is. I'm Dave Schmel, and I have absolutely no color commentary with me. But we have a full warm room here at the Bucks County Curling Club. A full warm room and a lot of full bellies. Folks have really enjoyed our Polish theme night. It's good old-fashioned comfort food, which you really just don't get. We had pierogi, we had golubki, we've had kielbasa, we've had bigos, we've had halushki. Stuff that is not sexy to sell at restaurants, and that's why you don't see it, but damn, it tastes good. Mostly because the restaurant can't make money, and as much money as they need to selling pierogies, because who would pay $15 for a plate of pierogi? So stepping the hack is Brendan for Finger Lakes. Brendan Polo throwing second. It is them with a 2-0 lead. Trying to throw the draw underneath the split guards. The weight is really good. Right to the tee line. Now Brendan is relatively familiar with their ice, having played here a good amount. Here's Mr. Boyko trying to make his response. Now, this is Frank's first Bonspiel. Does wick on that top guard. It's going to bring it in, but it's a good shot because it does open up the shot rock. Both Frank and second Phil are in their first Bonspiel, so kudos to them, and we're happy to have you out in the circuit and glad to welcome you to Bucks County Curling Club. I feel like I could eat about 20 more pierogies right now. People are washing it down with some Okachim beer. Brought in especially for this Bonspiel. That draw comes down quite nicely. And they're sitting 1 and 2, wide open. So, gonna ask Frank Boyko here to throw a hit, throwing off the out turn. Now, this is where a newer curler needs to remember they don't necessarily have to kill the rock. Just a nice, normal weight. Don't go outside your own deal. And that's a little bit narrow, and actually worked out a little bit and spread them out. So the cowbell is ceremonially ringing. There we go, more pierogi. I love seeing that. Oh, and you got some of Danielle's baklava. That's the best baklava you're ever going to eat. Danielle Gelman, a member here at Bucks, makes the best baklava ever. Several members of our club have tried to sell their children into slavery for Danielle's baklava recipe. So after that draw in, it does leave Finger Lakes sitting 3. So Paul's trying to make a decision here and looking to throw a hit, having his wife Jennifer throw a normal weight. Stones away, coming inside out, has to curl a touch. It's going to be past the guard. It's going to come in contact with that stone and get the desired outcome. A good shot. They're hoping for the double, but that is a good outcome. Last call for dinner. Last call to get your pierogi. Last call to, yeah, there we go. We're getting more pierogi. I'll take 2 mushroom with sour cream. Truly fantastic food from the pierogi factory on Boston Avenue. And joined here with our good friend from the Glendale Curling Club.
The former Glendale.
Well, it's still for us the same season, so
that's right.
I feel comfortable saying this is the last time somebody's flying your flag.
That's right. Yeah.
So Simon, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys run a great spiel, and the ice is fabulous, and having a great time.
Fantastic. How was dinner?
Oh, dinner's great.
Yeah, we Yeah, this Polish theme night kind of has a little bit of a special place in my heart, just because, well, it's true to my lineage and
Tradition.
yeah, tradition. But it's food that's not really quote sexy to sell at a restaurant most of the time.
But it's good hearty food.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And
When you serve it to people, they love it, but it's not necessarily something that keeps a restaurant open.
it's not a Michelin 3-star for any means, but it is good, hearty, and in a curling bonspiel where there's a bit of alcohol involved, it's good to coat the stomach with good food.
You say, so putting some potatoes in the stomach is not a bad idea.
You got her. You got her. A bit of pasta, a bit of potatoes. What's wrong with that, right? So,
yeah. When we picked the stuff up, the guy said he was up till he was at the store till 11 o'clock last night making the pierogi.
I'll bet. They were good. I particularly like the mushroom sauerkraut.
The mushroom and sauerkraut, yeah. Well, that's a varsity level pierogi.
Yeah, here you go.
Everybody knows. Everybody's had a potato and cheese, and they're okay with that.
Perfect.
That's common.
Perfect.
But the mushroom and sauerkraut, you had to like your food to want that.
You got it. You got it. But I love food, and I tend to cook as well. So.
Oh, I've seen many of the pictures on Facebook, and I know you've watched me cook too. So
there you go. Cool.
So we're watching Finger Lakes here against Diamond State. This is a D event semifinal.
Yep. Albeit, Blue seems to have the game in control, but one thing I've noticed, especially when you play in C and D, is that sometimes the strategy will allow a team to come back, right? So.
Yep.
But the ice speed picks up quickly, and there's typical of arena ice. There's always going to be a pipe run or two, and if you up your weight and set it, it'll run straight. Otherwise, the curl is nice.
Yeah, our ice is running quite similar to most TV ice.
Yeah, it is. It is. Except the rocks are not as sharp as TV ice, so you don't get the 6 feet of curl.
Oh, yeah, because they sharpen.
They sharpen every 2 or 3 games, for Christ's sake.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
I played in Oakville. I played Summer League in Oakville back in Canada, and the week before, right now, last weekend, this weekend, they've been hosting Ontario Curling Tour events, and top drawer events. And for week 2 of Summer League, they had textured the rocks just before the Wednesday. We curl on Thursday, Summer League. And I kid you not, I was taking outside edge of 12 foot for a draw to the button.
Oh, boy.
So 6 feet of curl, and you better give it some rotation, otherwise you'll get 8 feet of curl. It really accentuates technique and releases and whatever. So at that level, they give it a lot of rotation, right? So, and I've been fortunate to play competitive curling quite a few years, so that I've developed that rotation. So I'm not intimidated by that aggressive rocks.
Not everybody throws that much handle, for sure.
No.
And that's actually an issue for a lot of members of our club, because we started out on the shared ice, the hockey ice, using ceramic stones, which don't have much bite in them to begin with.
And for those type of stones in night ice condition, a lot of rotation will hurt you.
Oh yeah.
So you need what I call the flat fish, the very little rotation. And
my standard shot growing up curling is about 1 1/4 rotations.
Yeah. And versus on ice like this, it's 3.5.
Yeah.
And once you get your new rocks, they'll be 4 or 5 at first.
Oh yeah, and now I've learned how to do that and learned how to adjust to it.
Yeah.
But still, my default shot's probably about 2.
Yeah, but the key to competitive curlers is to adjust to the ice condition and believe what it gives you, and throw it. If you stick to your old habits, and you play a team that adjusts to the ice condition.
That is where I think that some of our skips have an advantage, Simon. The ones that grew up playing with the shared hockey ice, we immediately accepted what was in front of us.
Yep.
We had no preconceived notions that to throw a hit at normal weight, you take 10 inches of ice all the time, every time.
Yep.
It was, okay, what's it doing?
But once you play on fast ice or in regular curling ice, if you don't adjust your release,
Yep.
you will pay the price.
Yep, absolutely. I joke when we take some of our newer curlers away, they say, so how's the ice? I just say, slower than ours. And I can say that.
Or faster than ours, or whatever.
I can't say that very often.
Yeah.
And it's a treat. If somebody's got it dialed up, I'm thrilled to play on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm still figuring, myself and the rest of the ice crew, we're still figuring out exactly how our new ice plant is interacting with our facility.
Yep. And you seem to have a very solid dehumidifier, which is the arena ice is half the game because the frost build will be very quick if you don't have proper dehumidifier.
Right.
So.
We have two dehumidifiers. One that is on the far side, on top of the locker room complex.
Yeah.
And over the last year, we put on that sock onto it.
Yeah.
Which we handmade.
Yeah.
And cut the little holes in with scissors ourselves.
And keep the flow going. Yeah.
And above the warm room to the left, from where we're sitting, there's a second dehumidifier.
Okay, cool.
So it makes a kind of circular flow of air.
Yeah.
And it keeps up with it. Now, if you're looking at it on the broadcast, it might look like there's some frost there from spot to spot. But that's on the base. It's not on the actual pebble that you're playing on.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you look at a typical arena ice, you'll get frost build along the boards. Yep. But since you have a 4-sheeter, you have enough space that it doesn't really affect the game. But most arena, if you like provincial championships or national championships in the States, whoa.
Everybody okay?
Man,
okay.
Yeah. You'll have 5 sheets. They'll squeeze in 5 sheets in this dimensions, and so your 2 outside sheets are very close to the hockey board, and you'll get the frost streak if you get humidity.
Because we're not exactly a regulation hockey rink.
Yeah, so you're not as wide.
We're not as wide. So to put 5 sheets on,
that'll be too tight.
We'd be directly on the boards, and we'd be at the absolute bare minimum of the specification that you can have a stone outside of play and still in.
Yeah, and that's why, but where they host championships on a hockey arena, where it's 200 by 85.
Well, next door we could have 5 sheets, and that's
exactly. But for you guys here, these 4 sheets are awesome, and what you've done, to help grow curling in the area is totally awesome.
And we have some of our juniors are now curling competitively.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the interesting. Now you mentioned that we're in the D event and this team has it relatively in hand.
Yeah.
That's because unfortunately they had a late change of the roster.
Yeah.
And added Brendan, who's throwing second.
Yes.
Who is actually underage. So unfortunately their team is ineligible at this point.
Okay.
So they have been ineligible for the entire spiel.
Oh, there you go. That's too bad.
So we had gotten them subs all through the week because they lost another player.
Yeah.
And after the issue came to light, we brought up you could play.
You can play, but you lose.
Well, you can play as a 300 team, and I can get you another sub, or you can play as an invalid team. And they had taken the whole trip down from New York, and they elected just to play their 4 games.
Yep.
And have a good time.
That's fine.
Have a good time competing and
get some games in, right?
Right, and this will be their last game.
Yeah.
Regardless of how the score goes up on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
But they.
There's a few. If looking at the scoreboard tonight, there seems to be a bit lopsided scores in all 4 games. Well, except for sheet A.
Yeah.
The other 3 sheets, one team is well in here, right?
Yeah. So that's the explanation for where that is where it is.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Dan Hazlitt from Finger Lakes, the skip, their skip for being understanding of the rules application.
Yep.
Not anything that anybody ever wants to do.
But I've ran my share of bonspiels, and
every once in a while these things come up, and
they do indeed. They do indeed.
It almost makes me want to go out and look at the ice temperature right now.
I don't know if it's people are either tipsy or the ice getting greasy. So
yeah, it's probably it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
How's your surface temperature?
Oh, we've been running about 24.5, which is 24.5 between 24.5 and 25 is where we are the fastest. And I haven't been clocking many rocks, but I can see that it's fast.
Yeah. Well, I say like I said, our quarterfinal game was on sheet A.
Yeah.
And it got up to to speed by the third end.
Sure.
And it was like we do our split times from the near the tee line, the near back line to the hog line.
Okay.
And we're throwing like 395 fours, which is similar to the clubs. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
To what we throw at home. So for us, it was easy to adjust. It was just like Glendale,
right.
Throw Glendale draw, and once you have that, so your control weight, what control weight is, what board weight is, and hack weight.
Yeah, down here that's a little bit tougher because we tend to, one, we're running the summer, so we tend to have a humidity factor.
Yeah, of course.
So to be able to keep that with that, we've gotten our full sheet time for a drill up to 27 seconds on occasion.
That's good. And you got lucky with the weather this weekend. The humidity factor
it's not so bad.
So it's I played about you. That's the first time I met you. The Tropic Curl in Pittsburgh, where it was 100 degrees and 100% humidity at the old Robert Morris University Arena. I mean, that poor dehumidifier was struggling like crazy.
Just drafted a member of another curling club.
There you go. But you'll remember the first time we met, it was playing at the Tropic Curl, playing against you at Tropic Curl. But it was like the 4th of July weekend, 100 degrees and 100% humidity. It was so hot in that poor ice condition. I mean, it was that plant was working overtime.
So we're going to find out what our ice surface is at.
Yeah. When you did your install, did you put some temperature probes in the ice?
Yep, that's what he's looking at.
Perfect.
There's a electronic one and also a mercury thermometer.
Oh, perfect.
Because I don't always trust the electronics.
Yes.
$25.9. Okay.
It's a bit greasy then.
Yeah, our ice surface at $25.9. That's a product of the fact there's about
a bunch of people on the ice.
Yeah, there's a full load of people on the ice, and there's a dozen people hanging out over on the heckle benches.
Yep.
And it's been pretty warm. Not a hot day, but sunny.
Yep.
So the sun's been getting to the building.
Yeah.
People are in and out, so much more than a regular league night.
Plus, there's lots of people in the warm room, so they'll generate some heat at this end of the ice.
That's telling me why we saw a couple folks take a bit of a header.
Yep.
That's also why it's running really freaking quick right now too. It's always a balance. You always want to make player safety as your priority.
Because any past that, then the ice will start to melt. Your pebble's going to go. Right?
This is the absolute high end of optimum.
Yeah.
But now we're late, the sun's down, so I'm not necessarily worried about
Yeah,
it.
and overnight's going to cool down.
Yeah,
You got to turn your lights off, and it's going to.
Yeah. I don't. It's not like I'm going to run them back and change a chiller setting right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a brand new ice plant, and we are very thankful that we were able to do that.
And you're getting new rocks.
Yep, we have new rocks. They are here, not in the building, but they're about 10 minutes away.
In the vicinity.
Yeah, we didn't want to put new stones in straight onto a bonspiel.
Yeah.
You want a chance to let them break in and see if we have to match anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
We feel like that we have these matched fairly well.
They're pretty well.
I did hear you call for a different rock on sheet B.
No, it was on sheet A. I haven't played B yet. It was the 7 blue on sheet A. My first game, we played with blue, and you throw the exact same split, 390, and there's 15 feet difference in the outcome. Like in terms of rock 7 was slower.
Okay. So what I'll do overnight is I'm going to change the handle, and I won't tell you.
There you go. I'll figure it out quick. That's the thing as a skip. You figure out things real quick.
Well, I was playing a bonspiel up at Schenectady.
Yeah.
And I was playing against a home team, and they immediately put their rocks in the order they wanted.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. That's the thing. So rather than, obviously you're playing with no previous knowledge of the stones.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, I just found the first 2 stones I thought I liked, and said they're mine, and I'll work with the rest of it.
Yep. At the end of the day, that's what you have to do. Because as a skip, you're going to have the pressure draw, and you got to have to feel confident that you can throw your normal delivery, right? So.
Right, and if I spend too much time trying to obsess about that, I'm going to take myself out of my game.
Well, exactly. And if like number 7 stone, it was the second end when it
became apparent.
Like out of my hand, my sweeper said top 8, top 4, which is what we wanted. It ended up being a halfway guard.
Okay.
So we put it. Okay, maybe it's the second end. We played on the fresher side. So it's maybe the ice condition, but the next end, that rock took off early and it died quickly. And I threw the exact same split on my 8 rock and made the draw for the point. And there was like 15 feet difference. So I said, well, let's get rid of it.
No, that's a good call.
And because you don't want the rock to get in your head, right?
Yeah,
especially as a skip. So
yeah, usually every season we give them a push, but
yeah.
I admit that we didn't do that this year because they're here for a couple of weeks and we're done.
Yeah, well, exactly. And so, and also, and it may be like it was the first game of the spiel. The ice hasn't settled down. Even it's fresh ice.
Yeah.
It could be various factors why the rock behaves differently. But at the end of the day,
it's
important
that you feel comfortable.
Yeah, bingo. And if as a skip you're not comfortable with a rock,
you're never gonna make a shot
with that rock. So get rid of it, right? And my 8 rock was gliding nicely. And we were back on sheet A, like the quirks of the bonspiel draw sometimes. Like we played 4 games now, 3 on A. So but the game this afternoon, the last game in the round robin, the outcome didn't matter to us. We're guaranteed to be in the main event. We were 2-0 playing an 0-2 team, so we had the head-to-head tiebreaker no matter what we did. So we lost the toss, and we decided to take red rocks so we can test the rocks. So knowing full well we'll go back in the quarterfinals. So it didn't matter which color we throw.
Right.
So
good strategy.
So, and the red rocks were fine straight up, and we lost the toss again, and we picked red rocks, and
there you go.
We were pretty much in control the whole game. So
yeah, I am due to go through this draw and try to nitpick a little bit, and I know I got a couple little idiosyncrasies.
Little quirks, but hey, you deal with it. I mean, like,
see, you know,
like in arena ice, when you're this far from the boards, an outside sheet,
it's not a problem.
It's not a problem. So I didn't mind. And of course, when you're a competitive curler and our team, and a competitive team, and our team's been throwing well, so going back on the same sheet is obviously an advantage.
That's right.
So yeah, and it's little quirks of the draw, and in overtime you adjust and whatever. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow's semis game because it's a rematch of last year's quarterfinal. That I lost the next round to Team Mooney.
Oh, so you're playing Mark tomorrow?
Yeah. So
fantastic.
So it should be a good game.
What sheet's that on?
On sheet C.
Okay, well, I'll make sure I chime in on it.
There you go.
I'll be watching it. I know that for damn sure.
Yeah. So. Of course, the finals on B. But
so obviously we can't have the semi there.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll be able to flop cameras around once we get more cameras installed.
Yes.
If anybody wants to help, well, first of all, I recommend supporting whatever club that everybody from Glendale's going to.
Yes. Well, we're going all over the place. So we're fortunate enough. There's about 700 clubs in the Hamilton area. So we're going to Dundas Valley.
God bless you. Yeah, God bless you. Because I told you earlier. I was at the North Hill Curling Club, and I said, "Where's the closest one?" Oh, just across the park. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Here it's 45 minutes, an hour and a half.
Yeah. and the Dundas, which is like Warminster to Philadelphia, I guess. I mean, there's two a 5-sheeter and a 4-sheeter within half a mile.
That's pretty good. And
yeah. So.
And your prime minister is not a lunatic.
I won't comment anymore. We're both going into elections.
Yeah.
Well, there's a tight game on sheet A. Whoever had Red Rocks is only up 1.
Yeah, and that
with Hammer.
That is the other Finger Lakes team.
Okay.
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
They're competing against the West End Curlers from Ocean State with 2 players from Diamond State. The players from Ocean State had a very pleasant evening last night.
I heard.
Yeah, indeed.
I think my teammates were involved.
That's a shocker. That's a shocker of all shockers. Alert the media. Danielle was drinking.
At least my teammates showed up for their games.
All right, so it's a lot of Blue Rocks in here right now, and Paul is Paul doesn't have a lot of good choices here.
Yeah.
This is his Hammerstone.
It's Hammerstone. So
for my money, I'm throwing a control weight hit on the, as we're looking on the broadcast, the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Just, oh God, that doesn't look good either, does it?
Well, there's probably the out-turn draw to the 4-foot,
Yep.
You know, to cut them down, because right now blue's line 2, possibly 3. So
Yeah.
if you
Because if you come this way.
yeah, so which would be the righty out turn.
Yep.
And go in between the port and try to catch most of the forefoot.
Right. It could be heavy with backing here.
Yeah. So
Now, the broom suggests
he may
something
be
else.
doing that draw, but
the draw the open side.
yeah, through this port, right?
Yep.
Okay, so to try to catch a peach of a forefoot, so you may get shot or at least cut them down to 1.
Yeah. So
Because the run back is a very tough shot, and I don't think it's going to get you anything. So
absolutely. Are you signing up to throw this one?
he's throwing an intern. Oh, he's playing a tap. He's tapping his red.
Okay. Look, they got to be on the hard. It's over curling.
He sort of got it started, so he's not going to hit anything.
Oh. All right. So it is a steal of 2.
It's 2, possibly 3. I think 3.
No, that one back here is 3rd. It looks pretty clear to me from here, but in real life it looks different than the overhead.
Yeah. Cameras.
Well, we purposely set our cameras to show the full playing area.
Yeah, which makes absolute sense, so which is awesome.
And that so many clubs, you only get the house, and you look at the overhead, you got no idea what's actually going on.
Yeah. So it looks like the red team is hanging around for more torture after giving up another steal of 2.
Well, I think they're going to play as the clock allows.
Yeah.
Because their situation is already determined.
Yeah, so exactly. And on the sheet D, game's a little bit closer.
Wow, there's not a lot of defense over there.
No.
After 4 ends, we have Chuck Barnes and Kathy Uhl from Cape Cod trailing their friends from Schenectady by a count of 7-5. Okay, there we go. So Chris Barziali, who is subbing in for the Finger Lakes team, he didn't expect to play today.
No.
No, we had somebody out, so he grabbed a pair of shoes out of the closet.
Yeah.
And I gave him my broom, and I told him he'd like it. And because he hasn't really bought himself a broom yet. And he is really feeling my broom.
There you go.
I use the Olson carbon fiber with the flat shaft.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I use it because I got ginormous mitts.
Yeah.
And it fits well in my hand.
Perfect.
And really lets me lean onto it. Chris has played hockey in his past. And having a flat shaft, it's like having a hockey stick in your hand.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. See, versus I have the hardline broom because they're thinner shaft because I have small mitts. So.
Yeah. Olson's the only company that's making a flat shaft right now, but and now they have a competitive head that goes on, so they have a WCF deal.
A compliant head, yeah.
They didn't have it for a while. They were actually going back and forth as to whether they were going to pay the money to have the study run.
Well, if they want to sell to competitive teams, they better have compliant heads.
Yeah. But for a very light carbon fiber broom, it's like $130 US. It's actually pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap, yeah.
And it's just as light as the Lightspeed, look like within a few grams.
Yeah, cool.
You don't know the difference.
Excellent.
So, not doing a commercial, but I like the broom that I have.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds good.
I'm glad, Chris.
Anyway, you run a great event, and it's our second year here, and truly enjoy it.
You've been here more than 2 years.
No, it's our second year. Last year was our first.
Okay.
Yeah, because we met you in Pittsburgh.
Right.
That and the following year we're building the warm room, so you didn't have the spiel. You told us about it, but you didn't have the spiel. Because we're going to enter and said, are you going to have it? You're going to have it.
Okay, that's right, because the folks,
Yeah, and
I got you.
And then, of course, last year we came down and.
I appreciate you being here, and you guys are still in the running for sure.
Yeah. Now we're so far one better than last year. We were 3-0 in round robin last year and lost an extra end game to Team Mooney, and it was a great game.
Well, Mark's a good curler.
Yeah, for sure.
Mark keeps a very even keel, and I think that's his strength.
Yeah, for sure.
He coaches competitive curlers himself.
Yeah.
He was actually the coach of the Ukrainian national team that was recently formed.
Oh, good for him.
The mixed doubles team, when they trained both at Plainfield and at Bucks.
Oh, cool.
And Elena and Yevgeny came a long way in a very short period of time.
Yes.
Just especially when you're first learning that you have an exponential potential. If you put the time in, dear Lord, you can learn quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
You have no time to make bad habits.
No, and the thing you have to realize as a curler and as a skip is that nobody's going to curl 100% every game.
Right.
So you're going to get some misses and you're going to miss some shots, and
that's a nice stone right there.
And yeah, very nice stone, good freeze, and is having the mental strength to make the right shot at the right time.
Right.
So like yesterday's game, I had an opportunity to do a shot for 3 in the 8th, and was fortunate enough to.
That was nice. That was a nice run back. And by the way, the entire Bondsfield committee appreciates that you guys were able to finish 9 ends in the same time everybody did 8.
I don't dilly dally, right? So.
And I made a point of mentioning that to folks. You see, they played freaking 9.
By the time you were finishing 8, in fact, we were off the ice
before
and we watched the end of their game.
I know you did. I know you did.
This was a nice draw for the Blue Stones.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you better clear the front, if you ask me. But.
Well, I think, this is your first-year player. I think calling a draw is probably going to give you a better luck more times than the hit.
Yeah.
Got to play your guy.
Yeah.
He can leave that hit for Jennifer or for himself.
Yeah. That looks a bit fast from here. But.
Well, they're used to playing on a little bit heavier ice.
Yeah, that's
going to guard the hack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Elena and Evgeny from the Ukraine team, they joined our mixed doubles league that plays every Sunday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we have a morning draw on Sundays at 11 a.m. To get done before football.
Yeah.
And then the mixed doubles go out in between. And then at 6 p.m. we have our evening draw.
Cool.
It's odd that Sunday is the only day that our club runs multi-draws.
Wow. But you guys have done well. So what's your membership base then?
We're just about around 200. That's where we're living right now.
Yeah. Where would you like to be at the end of the day?
We see 275 as our ideal top. We don't want to be an overfilled club.
Okay.
Honestly, we'd like to see, if it were to come to that, we'd love to see another club open.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if you build it, they will come.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
We could pack 500 members in here, and
but then you can only probably play one league, and
right.
you don't have the flexibility, and
right.
and it's you don't have the flexibility of running events like you guys do, right?
Right. So we'd rather be between 200 and 270.
Yeah.
And as it grows, maybe Diamond State down in Delaware, Jersey Pinelands over in Jersey, can gain the traction. And around here, Gary from Rooms Up was talking with me and thinks that the next frontier of like real estate is shopping malls and like abandoned Kmart's and stuff like that.
Yeah. Warehouses.
Right. Some of these, because as e-commerce has taken away from brick and mortar stores, there's buildings that are built with large open spaces that are now becoming available in surplus.
Yep.
And it's already built.
Well,
so
just down the street, you have a former Kmart.
Yep.
Right? So,
and all you have to do is lease that, lay out the mats, and away you go.
Yeah, exactly. The technology has allowed for that type of transformation, right?
Right. So if you can afford, if you can afford the rent, you can be up and running for about $400,000.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a sum, but it's not insurmountable.
Yeah.
Because we just replaced our chiller. It cost us $280.
Yeah.
And the mats are about $80,000, and then some very rudimentary things around it.
Yep.
You're up and running for about $400.
Yep. Well, totally.
And once you're up, you can work from there.
Yep.
That's kind of how this started.
Well, Cincinnati's opening a dedicated facility.
Yes.
And Pittsburgh is building their own. Good for them.
We're thrilled for them.
Yeah.
These stones are going to find a good home there.
Yeah. And that's a great set of stones to start a new building. That's a great shot here.
Very nice. Cowbell.
Yeah.
Oh, you could be more aggressive than that. There you go. I spent $3 to buy that as a souvenir. It's only $3. Now we do have custom Bucks County cowbells.
Yeah.
They were gifted to us by Plainfield Curling Club, actually.
Oh, cool.
Because we only had that single solitary cowbell, and they said, we're far too classy to only have one cowbell.
There you go.
So Dan Hazlitt, the
hit and roll
skip from Finger Lakes. Looking at the hit and roll, Dan has been playing well all weekend and been a fine gentleman the whole time. Especially through the various situations, and I appreciate his courtesy with that.
It looks like he fed it out a little bit.
Damn it, Dan, I said all that nice.
And he gets a nose hit, leaving a hit and roll.
It leaves a hit and roll to lie 2. Paul and Jennifer, they have really taken to bond spieling, which is nice. Nice to see the arena club doing a lot of bond spieling. As members of Bucks, we did a lot of bond spieling, and since we were playing all year, even though it was on the quote crappy ice, we were playing and we were getting out there, and we kept on going, and eventually started winning things. And for a bit, I think we benefited from low expectations and flying underneath the radar.
Yeah. Okay. It's the best way to be sometimes.
Fine by me. No, everybody.
But eventually, once you have some success, it's hard to fly under the radar. Well, after we won Tropic Curl, you get the big target on your back when you go back there.
Right. Absolutely. That's like I live.
The Phillies are winning 5-0.
They have plenty of time to lose.
Plenty of time.
So our Philadelphia Phillies are winning by a score of 5-0, but they have Plenty of time to lose. It's only the top of the 7th. I'm kind of secretly hoping that they lose so we fire a manager.
Yeah. That's a bit tight. The infamous tight and light.
Tight and light. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years on the, Dave only throws big hits and can't draw. So then I just would...
Can't draw, you can't skip.
I would just tempt that.
Yeah.
I would just tempt that and then prove them wrong and say, they'd leave me draw. I'm like, okay. Misconception. Just because you can throw the 7-second field doesn't mean you can't draw.
Yeah. And if you're not used to fast ice, it takes you a while to find your way.
Yeah. We have been cultivating pretty good brushers here. You know, both Brendan, who has played here as a junior, and Chris, you see that they were all the way back almost at the back line.
Yeah.
They weren't wasting any time. They're getting their feeling right off the bat.
Yep. And that's...
Doesn't fix the fact that it was light, but...
If it's 25 feet light, you can have 2 gorillas sweeping you.
Yeah.
You're not going to do
it. Yeah, we could have had...
if you're like in the overhead screen, I think there's a few rocks in play to send, no?
Yep, this is... as our club members would like, a very Nedrakian house.
12 rocks in play.
Bill Nedrak, one of our skips here.
Yeah. So we got 12 rocks in play with 1 to come.
Yep. Bill's ideal house is 11 guards with 1 counting. And the best way to distract our good friend Bill Nedrak is to get a stone moving in the opposite direction. He'll become transfixed.
Yeah.
All right, Paul.
Looks like a draw for 2.
Time to earn your keep. We're on the board, and I don't see how from this turn you can mess that up.
If he flicks it wide and heavy and chips that outside blue.
That'd be, oh God, that would be terrible. Oh, please don't do that. Okay, we're on it. That suggests that that's not happening. Whoa. Let it bend, let it bend.
Yeah, because it's floating, and he's about to do what I just called.
Oh.
And it is 1 blue.
Son of a motherless goat. You had to open your mouth, Simon. Jeez.
Well, I was just telling you that yes, there is a possibility. And
there certainly was. That's really rough. Oi.
And it happened.
Oi, gewilts. Man, oh Shevitz.
Yes.
So after 4 ends, it's a lot to little.
For 5 ends.
I was still right.
I think they're going to play 1 more, and it's probably handshakes.
Yeah, the rocks had to come down this way anyway, so. And we do have, looking around the barn, over on sheet C, it is Plainfield having their way with Anthracite. Score of 8-1 after 5. Bit of a closer game on sheet D. On sheet D, it is Broomstones holding an 8-5 advantage after 5 without hammer. And over on sheet A, we have Finger Lakes with a 6-3 advantage over the Ocean State Diamond State combination. And that's our trip around the board. It's sponsored by Steve Johnson. There you go, I see his billboard. CrossGen 65. If you need Medicare, call Steve Johnson. CrossGen65.com. There you go. You just earned your $450 you pay every year. So we have staggered guards here in the 1 and the halfway position. Now, when I was at the Niagara Falls Curling Club, they actually had a sheet where they had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the ice.
Yeah, that's for
as a training tool.
As a training tool, yeah. For to learn to curl, it's teaching them the zones.
I didn't mind that.
Yep.
Because that's like a big thing. Yeah. Your new players are so afraid to call a weight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, just go and be wrong.
Yeah. Well,
be wrong and continue to be wrong.
Yeah, at least tell me something. And then you can always adjust, right?
The more you're wrong, the faster you'll be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've always been a fan of the. Well, I personally am not a stopwatch person.
No.
But I don't disrespect the tool.
No, it's the watch does not work if people are not, curlers are not consistent and have the same delivery, the same release, and if they play with their stones, doesn't matter. But somebody who throws, like my team, are pretty consistent. So you can rely more on the watch, you know, especially for draws.
Absolutely. I want to thank Simon for joining us this evening. Always a joy to have some expert commentary with us. All kinds of guards right now and nothing in the house. Brendan throws this one. It's a little bit on the outside. Curling underneath the guard nicely. And that's going to be fully buried. That's a very fine shot right there. So Paul's looking to draw to the lid on the outturn side. Stones away. Taking the curl, and it is going to be on the guards.
Really good time.
Thank you.
Wonderful skill.
Took a brief break there to speak with one of our competitors that are eliminated and heading home. Brett Jackson and his team from Detroit do hope to get out to his club. We have a member here from their club, Chris Flynn. Brett was nice enough to say he had a great time, and we had a great time hosting them. So Paul's in a tough spot again. There's not much of a port. He's looking to open stuff up some. It hasn't been the easiest ride. So after that shot, at least it's sitting 2 stones for Finger Lakes. Paul has to figure out what he can draw up here. Needs to get to the 4 foot to be counting. The easiest shot is the double raise on his own reds. And that looks like what they're going for. I'd probably come from the other turn if I was throwing it. Now, Paul needs to remember that he's moving 84 pounds of granite. So this has to be at least bumper weight. And I still kind of like the other turn. We have folks in the war room say, yeah, it's doink and doink. Dan Haslett throwing his final skip rock. It wiki and wax and the rich get richer. The only real shot that Paul has to score here is to raise his shot all the way outside on the right-hand side that we're looking at on the broadcast. It's admittedly less than ideal to throw this shot. But he really needs to be looking all the way over, because I don't know these angles may work. You know what? Yeah, it might work. It's gonna be really close, so. Good. There's a halfway. He's looking to run the red into the blue-red combination. There's a more than decent chance that his own stone is going to jam and not be shot. But when you're in a situation when there's not a lot of options, sometimes you need to select the best bad option. Okay, so Paul's going for a really tough shot here. Let's see how it goes. Come on down. They need to be on it. Both brushers are on it really hard. All kinds of weight. Will it get the desired roll? Well, they raised their stone, but it went all the way through the house, unfortunately. It's 2 blue. And they're going to play the last 10. Thank you. And there's handshakes. Now, due to draw issues, it will be Diamond State advancing. That'll take care of it for this draw. For Simon, Simon from Glendale, who joined us earlier, I'm Dave Schmel. We'll catch you in a little bit. Talk to you in a few moments.